are not as deep. So we prefer to move into plays which at least the petroleum system is proven. We will not go into plays where there is an unproven petroleum system. There's a question about data. So who actually collects data? Who proves the petroleum system? My question to that is, who is the ultimate beneficiary of what is produced? The ultimate beneficiary is the country. So it falls back, and it's the country's need to increase domestic production. Therefore, it falls back on the country to actually acquire that data, make sure that the petroleum systems are proven. And yes, after that, once the petroleum system is proven, after that, you go and market that petroleum system to attract additional investment in, to further explore and develop, for which capital is not available in the country. In the past, so having said that we're a small independent, in the past 10 years, we've spent about $4 billion in Pakistan. Yeah. Not a small amount. We currently have 6 new exploration concessions. We're looking to add more. And that is all on the basis of what Fahim was mentioning. We have existing production. We're able to self-finance that exploration piece. Okay. But if you want to bring somebody new in, then they need to, the risk needs to be reduced as much as you can, and you need to offer them freely and openly all the data packaged in a manner where that resource potential is marketed. Remember, you're competing with the offshore Egypt, Cyprus, Guyana, all of those. Right? Offshore itself in Pakistan, unproven. The petroleum system is not proven. We've drilled over a dozen wells. Somehow, the objective was to, the objective never was to prove the petroleum system. It was to try and discover hydrocarbons. And even after, I think, 16, 17 odd wells, we have still not proven the petroleum system. And we're still at a very, very nascent stage of exploration in the offshore. I have myself seen, because being Heritage BP shot the largest 3D offshore Indus. I have myself seen bright spots on that seismic. But what are those bright spots? Are they DHIs? Or are they other anomalies? We don't know. Because the petroleum system is not proven, the risk to drill a well was not taken. Okay? And so, coming back, so coming back to UEP, we've now started to kind of step out because we have existing production. We're able to generate enough cash flow to finance the exploration. And whatever, more or less whatever cash flow we're generating, we're applying back. On the average, we drill about 20 to 30 wells every year. And next year also, we've got a similar plan. And yes, we are stepping out, but unexplored, where the petroleum system is not proven, UEP will not go there.
Thank you, sir. So I think one of the messages that we heard from Masud Sahab also is that you know what you know, but do the others know what you know? Because that is where I think the sellability of the data that we have to an investor, whether it is within Pakistan or outside. So I think the next question is a very interesting question as well. And, for Amir Saab, I think what I would like to ask, I mean, if I'm putting you in a spot, my apologies, but what does OGDCL look like a decade from now?
Yeah, so Zoro, I realize that you will be putting me on spot, asking me difficult questions. But I think it's important to have a bit of a perspective building here. And before that, I mean, as they say that you can have your opinion, but you cannot have your own facts. So if you look at the company today, 10 years ago, what OGDCL was, we were a company which had a valuation of close to $1 trillion rupees in the market. That's 2013. And obviously with the dollar parity, you can figure out, $1 trillion dollar company. And now we are sitting 2023 with a 1/3 of that valuation. So what is happening? What's the perspective? We are still the company in Pakistan, which is basically, as of present, producing the 50% of the oil of the country that it produces, and 30% of the gas. There are a lot of headwinds, there are a lot of issues that we face while operating in this current scenario. One of it, which everybody is aware, is the circular debt, which has taken a very serious opportunity cost out from us. Serious security issues, 8% decline on our portfolio, production decline. But despite that, I think it's important to note that over the last 5 years, we have seen a 14% growth on our top line, continuously growing, and 13% in our profit on an average per annum basis in our profitability. So we are a huge company. We have a lot of momentum, and from here, with this decline, that some of the points that I mentioned earlier about the production optimization, we will still not be able to arrest those declines despite making those efforts. So where do we go? What do we do from now for the next 10 years? So obviously there is this discussion has come into play, and there is a serious rethinking going on within the organization with the management level, and that strategy has been developed, and it will soon be basically presented to the board of directors as well. And part of that strategy, we are looking at two main aspects. One is basically that we identify the risk and the challenges that we have with our current portfolio, and then we define the way forward on our current portfolio. What do we do? And the second one is basically that how do we do the transition from an E&P company to an energy company? And so in terms of giving an example, some of the mantras that we had in the past were about drill, baby, drill. So we would be very happy if we just continue to drill. And one of the things that we were always told is drill, baby, drill. And that mantra is gone. We are not going to just embark on drilling everywhere, anywhere. So we will be looking at those high risk, high reward. And in terms of the marginal fields, we will be more focused on where we get the reward on that. So that is a very clear part of our strategy. Then obviously, in terms of the governance, if you look at the governance of the OGDCL, it's very important that we are innovative. We go for the operation excellence, and we come out of the shell, where we have the risk taking, we have the innovation, and we have the right skill for the job. I mean, we have a disproportionate staffing in our organization, and we have not been able to cross-train, groom our people. We have very serious gaps in our succession planning as of today, which we see especially at the senior level. I mean, there's a continuous retirement every second month or a month. We have a retirement coming up. Succession plannings have to be bridged, and we need to have an operation excellence plan. What Mustapha Saab is saying is absolutely true, that without we have to focus on the digital transformation, because that part does not exist with us today. So we have to move on this digital transformation, looking at the data and working with that data. Conventional wisdom has taken us so far. What we have done in terms of conventional wisdom, a lot of people have put their sweat and blood in bringing this company to where it is. And I think that for the younger people, for the group of people coming in, need to go out of that shell, look at the digital transformation, AI, build from there. In terms of the transition, so there is no switch, there is no on-off switch. It has to be a very orderly transition. We will be focused on the exploration activities, and meanwhile, as a company, recognizing that we cannot remain insular to our surrounding, we have already looking at a couple of initiatives, which is, I think geothermal was mentioned by Lal. So OGDC has already embarked on the geothermal initiative. We are already sort of moving into the second phase of this discussion. Obviously, there's some confidentiality of the data which I cannot disclose, but we are moving into the geothermal part of it. We have already stepped out into the PIOL with diversification. That's the ADNOC block that we are looking at. We have signed MOUs with with number of other companies within Pakistan in terms of producing the hydrogen. All these things will come in 10 years. I mean, those hydrogen and those, because there is a very substantial cost, and I think as of today, the levelized cost of electricity is so high that we'll not be able to do that. So I think all these things, we need to have this strategy with this clarity, and I think with that, we move forward into the next 10 years.
Thank you, Amir. I mean, good to hear that, OGDC, as all the other E&P companies that we do see around the world, is abreast to the challenges of the existing development of not easy plays anymore, and then also looking at transitioning to something which will look different than what you look at it today, right? So please go ahead. You wanted to add something.
Just want to add one more thing. I think one thing which we were missing, and we have started slowly, but a lot of work needs to be done, is learning from within the industry. So we had taken the initiative of carrying out a drilling symposium with all the companies invited for the drilling in north, the challenges of drilling in north of Pakistan. And we came out with some staggering numbers of the losses that we have, and there has been no cohesion and no data sharing within the companies. So we are asking for help. I mean, we asked for help from Mardi Petroleum, and they were very gracious in giving us a lot of help, opportunity in terms of looking at our production optimization. I think we have a great potential to learn from UEPL, how they're producing from those marginal fields, and so I think we need to go away from being shy, and we should ask for help. I mean, we can be the biggest NOC, but it doesn't mean that we know everything. So there is a big opportunity for us to go and ask for help, and we should not feel bad about it. We should not feel that we should not ask. So I think there's a lot of good stories out in Pakistan. So I would encourage everybody to please ask for help from those companies who have proven on that areas.
Very well stated. So we are on the last two questions with our panelists. So please, if you have any questions, have them ready. We'll have concise questions for 15 to 20 minutes as we move to the next section of the ATC, right? So Bhai Sahab, as we continue this discussion, right, we talked about de-risking. De-risking would involve technology in some cases as well. Technology often comes at a cost as well. So how do you, answer this question? I would again say age-old question of cost versus technology.
Sure, that's a very good question. Of course, everything has a cost associated with it, and as Masood Saab also said, that especially the exploration part, nobody is going to spend from their own pocket. So whatever we earn, the vision of any company, a good E&P company, is to invest more in the exploration part. And for that, for sure, one of the biggest challenges that we have in recent 1 year or so with the country situation here is that we have the receivables. All of us have, and we should not shy away from it. So one of the biggest thing that the government must do is to get rid of this thing, so which includes the circular debts and also the payments which are due, because no company can sustain without getting the payments on time. So timely payments, I would say, is the biggest concern from the industry point of view. Regarding the technology, of course, the technology has two things in my let's say small career, that the technology can make things happen out of box if you start from any life cycle of the play. So you started with building the play first, making the idea that leads to a lead, then it leads to a prospect, and then you start thinking about drilling. So all these phases needs technology, and technology really is something which can make it more efficiently also. So I may be one of the last generation of the people who used to work and who had work on the seismic paper. So there are people sitting in the audience here who used to work on the seismic paper and interpret by pencils and colors and everything. And we used to take maybe a month to make a map. And later on, today, it's a matter of maybe a day or two to make the same sort of map. So it makes it efficient. So one thing is efficiency, and then once you make on that, then you have to work other steps to make it happen, to mature it more risk-free, and this is where the technology comes in. And sometimes I believe that it's not only the money matters, because at the end of the day, there are examples in the world that you spend maybe a very small amount of money and you get a big reward out of it. So of course there must be a balance there, and being industry, a very big industry, I mean a legacy, as my colleague panelist said, that they have been working here for last 75 years. So there's a big history with us where the service companies are working. And of course they have bigger exposure in the world where they can bring in technology to Pakistan and help this industry to mature the basins in a more sellable place, in more marketable thing, and ultimately these are the things which makes market the country itself. So as rightly said by one of the panelists, that at the end of the day, we are sitting here in order not only to bring business to one individual company, it's ultimately the benefit, the fruit of it is coming to the country itself, because we will be making this indigenous resources, hydrocarbon, which is very, very essential. So the easy way is to get the LNG, and to that's the easiest way, but it's a much more costlier way also. So being a third world country, we must understand that the developing the indigenous resources, which is much less cost-wise, can be very useful for the country to sustain it.
Thank you very much. I think, you talked very rightly about how I would say the environment has changed and the tools available have changed. I'll not be surprised if some of our population here is already typing questions on ChatGPT to understand what's the next question that they might be asking you as part of the audience questions as well. So I will come to the last questions. If you have your ChatGPTs on, or if you have your own minds on, please keep your questions ready, because we'll open the panel for questions as well. So Hilal, just to conclude, basically, as Subhani have also pointed out, coming and presenting a service company, and yourself as well, with your experience outside of Pakistan as well, does some experience come to your mind where somewhere else you have seen incremental production actually changing the game for the country itself?
Thank you, Zoro. So, talking about technology and incremental production, it's not always that, when you put the latest technology, that means you are improving your production. Actually, it's about selecting the fit for basin or solution that help you achieve what you want to achieve. Right? It's not about X technology and Y technology, and I have seen this in different fields as well, and different customers in the region, where like a field where polymer injection was working very well. Production from that field is like 100,000 barrels, and they had another field. They applied the same technology, right? They could not achieve more than 6,000 barrels. I mean, it's a similar characteristics, but, you know, like the solution does